everybody, it's Katie here from the Queen of Teen Fiction. So today I am here to tell you all about a challenge that I took part in. So this challenge was set by the wonderful people at My Kind of Book who are kindly sponsoring this video, and it's all to do with this book right here, A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Bernard. This isn't the final cover for the book. The final cover actually looks like this. But this book comes out on the 12th of January and it is about a girl called Steffi who has been struggling her whole life with selective mutism. So ever since she was a little girl, Steffi has found it extremely difficult to use her voice. Sometimes it is completely impossible for her to speak up in front of other people, and that affects her life in a big way. So the challenge was about taking one day from my life and imagining what it would be like if I couldn't use my voice. Now, I was immediately interested in taking part in the challenge from the moment I heard about it, because as somebody who has suffered a lot with anxiety, I am often quite terrified of speaking out. I often find myself getting quite scared when it comes to speaking out in front of other people. I know there'll be a lot of people out there that can relate to this, but I was always that one person in the class that brought home school reports that constantly said, "You need to speak up more." I was always the quiet one because I hated having to hear my voice out there in the middle of a classroom. Even now as an adult, speaking out in front of strangers, having to make phone calls and booking appointments, those things still make me very anxious. But the difference is I can do those things if I really put my mind to it. I still am able to use my voice. So I was very interested in taking the time to think about what my life would be like if I literally couldn't use my voice in that way. So what I did for this challenge was take out a notebook and pen, and I decided to write down everything in my day that would be different if I couldn't speak. And believe me, there was a lot of things that would be entirely different. You don't realise how much you take your own voice for granted. So the day that I chose to do this is my volunteering day. I've been a volunteer at my local Oxfam store for the past 3 years. A big part of what I do at Oxfam is about communication with the customers. So I thought my volunteering day would be the perfect time to think about what life would be like if I couldn't use my voice. So starting the day, getting up, making breakfast and getting ready to leave. Without speaking, not much is really different. It's the minute I walk out the front door that things start to become a problem. I travel everywhere by train. I can't drive, so I rely on public transport for everything. The first thing that struck me is that I wouldn't be able to buy my ticket on the day. When I travel, I have to go to the ticket office and buy my tickets. I have to talk to whoever is behind the counter. For someone who isn't able to use their voice that simply, they'd have to do things differently. If I wasn't able to talk, then I would probably have to buy my tickets in advance online, just so I wouldn't have to go through that bit of communication in the morning. It would make traveling more complicated than simply being able to just buy a ticket on any day. So on this specific day that I chose to do the challenge, train travel would have been extremely difficult if I couldn't talk, because at the moment in my area the train lines are being renovated, so trains are only running to a certain station at the moment, and then from that station you have to get a bus that will take you to the station that you actually want to get to. So it's a little bit chaotic at the moment. On this day, it was the first time that I'd used the rail replacement bus. I had to ask 2 different people what bus I was getting on, because there were lots of different buses going to lots of different stops, and it was very confusing. So I ended up having to ask questions. If I couldn't have asked the workers what bus to get on, I would have been faced with 2 options. Either get on a random bus and hope that it's going to the right place, or turn around and go home. It made me realise how completely different the day would be if I couldn't have done something that simple. I could have ended up in the wrong place and the situation would have been 10 times worse. Or if I'd have gone home, then the Oxfam shop that I volunteer at would have been in trouble because they'd have been 1 volunteer down. So the impact of that could have affected more people than just me. And I spent the majority of the bus journey thinking about that, because you don't realise these small little things that happen throughout the day how much of an impact they can have. So the main part of the day for me is my actual volunteering at Oxfam. Over the past 3 years that I have been working there, I have learned to use my voice a lot more. I always chat with the team of volunteers that I work with, and I chat with customers a lot as well. Those simple interactions are just a part of the volunteering day. There's something that I don't really think too much about anymore. Because I did this challenge just after Christmas, going into the shop and seeing everyone was chatting about what they've done over Christmas, things like that. Without being able to speak and join in with everyone, I'd have felt very left out. It would feel like being on the outside of a bubble, looking in at some different world that I'm not a part of. I think not being able to join in on things like that can feel very isolating. I used to do that to myself. I used to purposefully not join in with conversations because I was scared to. So I kind of know what that feels like a little bit. But as I said before, the difference is I can join in if I choose to. Also, working on the till for me would have been extremely difficult. Chatting to customers is just a part of retail work. It's something that I had to get used to when I first started volunteering there. There are regular customers that come in every week and you get to know them and you chat to them about certain things. It was quite sad to think what it would be like if I couldn't speak to them. It made me think about how they'd feel, because even though it wouldn't be meant that way, it would probably seem quite rude, which is sad because if somebody can't communicate, if they want to use their words but can't get them out there, they don't mean it personally, but the person on the other end of that might take it personally. Without being able to explain, there is no way to let that person know that you don't mean it that way. So yeah, that was quite heartbreaking to think about. It also made me think about how I'd feel if I was a customer. If I was buying something at the till and the cashier was just completely silent the whole time, it would make me as a customer feel quite weird. And I also probably wouldn't think about reasons why that cashier would be silent. So I ended up annoying myself by knowing that I'd automatically think that they were just being moody. So that was really interesting to think about. Part of what I do at Oxfam is explaining gift aid to customers that bring in donations. When somebody donates items to a charity shop, if they are a taxpayer, then they are able to sign up for gift aid, which means the government will provide 25% more of what that item makes in the shop. So we're always encouraged to ask people who donate to sign up to gift aid because it's completely free for that person. So it's a very important part of how the charity works because it makes them more money. If I wasn't able to talk to customers freely, I wouldn't be able to explain that to people who donated. That was quite painful to think about because that would mean that potentially the charity would lose money. So to think that I could actually play a part in them losing money, it was really difficult to consider. But if I wasn't able to speak to these people that are donating their things, then that's what would happen. So yeah, if I couldn't use my voice, the volunteering work that I do in the shop would be completely different. It made me realise as well how much I like being able to talk in the shop, considering that I was initially very afraid of it. So after I finished my volunteering for the day, there were plenty of other things that would be different that I wrote down in my notebook. One of the things being that I have a dog. Anyone who has a dog knows that a dog is a huge part of your family. They are like another family member. This challenge made me think about what it'd be like as a dog owner if I couldn't use my voice. Just simple things like speaking to other dog owners in the park, being able to call out your dog's name whilst outside, things like that. I couldn't imagine not being able to do that. So there are lots of little things like that that are part of my daily life that would be completely different if I couldn't talk freely. The last thing that really stood out to me when doing this challenge was this: filming videos. That day after I got home from volunteering, I was planning to film a video. Doing the challenge, I realised that if I couldn't speak in the way that I do, I wouldn't be able to make these videos. Booktube is such a huge part of my life now. I love being able to discuss books via the internet. Even though I found making videos difficult at first, I love talking about books on the camera. And I realised doing this challenge that I can't imagine my life without that now. And so that was something that really got to me. So this challenge really made me think a lot about myself and my own voice. Because like I said, even though I am anxious a lot of the time about speaking up, I know that I still can if I need to. Not being able to use my voice is a terrifying thought. We do take our voice for granted, and when you stop to think about it, you realise how much being able to talk freely does for us. I use my voice all the time to make these videos and to talk to you all about the things that I love. Because of that, I am able to be part of this wonderful community. And thinking about my life without this in it makes me so thankful that I am able to use my voice. Even though I sometimes get frustrated because I can't always use my voice in the way that I would like to, I am still thankful for what I am able to do because of it. Selective mutism isn't something that I knew anything about before doing this challenge and before reading A Quiet Kind of Thunder. So I'm really thankful that Sarah has decided to take this topic and shine more of a light on it, because it's something that I've never read about in a YA book before. And I really love being able to read stories that take things that the majority of people aren't aware of and explain them. Because when you don't suffer from something directly, it's hard to imagine what it is like for that person that actually is going through it. So I think this challenge was a great way to make me aware of what life would be like if I wasn't able to use my voice. And it is safe to say that things would be completely different. So I'm really grateful to My Kind of Book for setting this challenge. I found it so fascinating to take part in. A Quiet Kind of Thunder is a very eye-opening read, and I will probably talk about it more on this channel at some point. It also features another main character who is deaf, so it is a story that you can definitely learn a lot from. If you were interested in finding out more about A Quiet Kind of Thunder, then I will leave a link down in the description. If you are looking for stories that break the mold, this is definitely one of them. Thank you to everyone who has watched this video. I hope it has made you think a little bit about what your life would be like if you couldn't speak. If it has, then please let me know down in the comments what you think it would change about your life. I'm really interested to hear how it would affect everyone else. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!